Hey guys, Fat Man again. So I found my scope rings. They're not what you'd call a real high quality set of rings. It's just a two-piece design, one screw, but they are designed for the smaller dovetail on the 22s and be able to use the 1-inch scope. So I have the scope from my shotgun, my 835 that I had installed, and this is what I'm going to put on here. So I want to make sure I'm looking at the right direction here instead of the I want to make sure I'm magnifying instead of shrinkifying. So this will be the front, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to slip these rings on for the time being. Put my screw in there, and since I don't know if I'm going to be happy with this arrangement, I'm not going to Loctite it yet. I'll just kind of stick both of them on that way. And make sure that your screws are on the same side so that your scope stays centered better. I've heard two different schools on that. So for now, when I mount this on my 987 Stevens, I've had this Rimfire 22 for quite some time. But when I set it on here, I'm going to leave it loose until I get it level, which is not going to be the easiest thing to do, but because I'm going to do it by sight, as the way I hold it to my shoulder, because I'm a little crooked, so to speak. But I want to make sure, and the gun is clear, chamber's open right now. And I know we've seen that issue before, so here we go. We'll slide that bad boy back in. And I'm going to try to do this so you can see what I'm doing. I can't find my mount that I made to hold my phone, and I'm using my phone right now because my camera died on me. So we're going to set it this way. Remember I said the side with the writing goes to the front, and we want to make sure that we're not going to get any shells ejected at us that are going to hit my scope. So I like to keep my bases as far apart as I can, just for the fact that it's just seems a little more stable that way. I'm not really a scope guy. I've been an iron sight guy most of my life. So I'm moving the front mount as far forward as I can right now. And then I'm just kind of snugging these screws just a little bit. And I'm going to shoulder it, and I'm going to look. Now, judging by the eye relief, I do need to slide it back a little bit. So we'll loosen the screws up. And the only reason I know that is because I know where my cheek welds, which I don't necessarily like where it's going because it is over the ejection port. I'll show you that in a second. It still mounts good because it's still a dovetail above it. I don't know if you can see, but that mount is right over the ejection port at this point. I'm going to look through it again. And that comes up real natural. So it's one of those things that I'm just going to have to deal with. So when I shoulder it now, remember it's still just a little bit loose. And I'm just going to try to level it as best I can. Oops. need to just turn it a little that way. And that is about as perfect as I could ask for. So I'm just going to lay it down and tighten up the 2 screws. Now you don't ever want to, they say, I think it's 20 foot-pounds. I'm just kind of guessing, but I'm holding onto the short end of the wrench, so I'm not going to over tighten it that way. Now I have, since the whole disassembly phase on this, my earlier video, disassemble and reassemble, I did take it out, I did shoot a few rounds through it so I know everything's okay. Now that I've got those screws slugged up pretty good, I'm going to look through it again. That's pretty decent. Don't like my scope looking dirty. I don't have but one, I have one scope cover that fits this end. I'm going to put it on there just to at least protect that end. I'm a fan of the scope covers just because it does protect your scope. And we don't need our scopes getting all messed up. So, next thing to do would be to bore sight it. And I am in my basement. I can bore sight it, but it would be a short bore sight. It might be 25 feet, which is of course better than nothing. And at 25 feet I should be pretty good, I would say, at 50 yards, which is probably the longest shot I'm going to get with this hunting squirrels and rabbits anyway. I have taken rabbits with it open sighted at 50 yards without any problem. But my eyes are getting older. I don't see as good as I used to. So I think a scope is going to help me out a little bit. And this is just an inexpensive Cabela's scope that I picked up, gosh, I don't even know, quite a while ago. And I picked it up originally to go on my 835 because it is a shotgun scope, it's not a rimfire scope. But it should be able to take a little more abuse being a shotgun scope. It's not an expensive one, it's just a Cabela's Pine Ridge scope. But it's served me pretty well. I've had it on other rifles too. My Daisy has a scope on it currently. And I don't know if I'm going to keep that scope on there, but I might. So anyway, that was a real quick and low down scope installation for my Stevens 22. I do have, if I can find it, still trying to get organized here, forgive me. Let's get rid of some of the stuff that I'm not using. I just have a feeling I'm not going to find what I'm looking for. I do have a cheap bore sighting tool that is exactly that. It's cheap, but it seems to do pretty well. When I had the BSA red dot on here, I used it for that, and it was right on the money. I did my Mosin Nagant with it, and bore sighted that out to 50 yards. And at 50 yards, I think, once I got it to the range, I was, maybe half an inch off bullseye. So, it did pretty well. Oh, and here it is. Sorry about that. It's just an inexpensive bore sighter. You get your bore sighting tool, you screw her down, and it sends your little laser beam out. We don't want to blind anybody. We'll shut that off. Have your adapters, a little Allen wrench, right there in the pocket. I try to keep everything fairly organized. It'll bore sight everything up to a 12 gauge. I used it on one of my other ones, and you just want to find, I think this is for 17, and this should be for 22. Yep, I think. Nope. That one must be. Now the bore sighter has a tapered end on it, and I'm going to screw that in here, and it goes into the adapter. And with that tapered end, you can kind of see how it flared it out. Well, you want to flare it so that it fits your bore, but not super snug, because once you get it in, you can tighten it a little bit. So once you get it in there, it'll kind of look like that. You screw it in there. This is all tapered up here so that it goes right against your crown. And once you've got it, then you turn it on, and you just line up your crosshairs on to center them on the dot at whatever yardage you're going to sight in at. So like I said, I can only get about 25 feet here in the basement, and if I give a quick look, oh, let's take the glasses off. From about 25 feet here, it's right on. So any adjusting to that would need to be done is all going to have to be done at the range anyway, because it's that close. So that's pretty much it for the scope install. A little bore sighter tool. I think I paid maybe 40 bucks for this. I can't even remember, it's been so long ago. But I try to take good care of it. I keep it put away. As with most of my stuff, I try to keep it put away decent. The chaos from moving and stuff, I'm still a little off, but I need to find my little baggie, and that'll be about it. That's about all for now. So, comments, questions, anything you got, send it on my way. Subscribe if you feel the need or feel the desire. Hopefully you've been able to glean a little information from my videos, and that's about it for now. So you have a great day, and I will get with you the next time. Thanks.